Hello. Welcome and welcome back. Today is day 30 of the Reset My Life 30-day journaling challenge. Because guess what? We're almost done. After you finish today's journaling prompt, you are done with the Reset My Life 30-day journaling challenge. You've completed it. That's it. So I want to go ahead and jump in. We have our daily statements, our prompt, and then we're just literally going to do our workshop today. And our workshop today is specifically about self sabotage, recognizing self sabotage, releasing, letting go of self sabotage, and actually embracing confidence and belief in self. Okay. So here we go. Oh my God. This is really, I've done 2 live stream journaling challenges. That's crazy. That is kind of wild. Okay. Here we go. I'm just excited. I'm excited to continue on to the next 30 days. Okay. And I'm excited to be done with this 30 days as well. Here we go. I started with my daily gratitude today. And then I did my daily affirmation. And then I did my appreciation. So I kind of already wrote them down. Okay. For day 30 of the Reset My Life 30-day journaling challenge, my daily gratitude is I am grateful for the opportunities to utilize my skills in ways that fulfill my passions and purpose. Let me say that again. I am grateful for the opportunities to utilize my skills in ways that fulfill my passions and purpose. Okay. My affirmation today: I am incredible. I am credible. I am amazed and inspired by myself multiple times every day. All right. My daily appreciation. Oh my God, this is the last daily statement of the 30-day Reset My Life journaling challenge. Okay. I am proud of the ways I listen to my heart, embody myself, reaffirm my values, honor the knowledge I have about myself, and embrace my strength and fortitude. So, you see how we're starting off today. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a chance to write down the prompt. Oh, before I even talk about it, that's crazy. I had a whole setup to make sure y'all could stand up. Stand up. All right. So, here is today's journaling prompt. Ew. For day 30 of the Reset My Life 30-day journaling challenge, your journaling prompt reads as follows. Read your letter to yourself from day 13, then answer today's prompt. Okay, so literally pause after when you're starting to answer, read your day 13, and then write the rest of the prompt, which is: what will I do for the next 30 days to progress my transformation into alignment and continue my present journey to a pampered and luxed life? Okay? Take your moment to write down today's prompt. And I'm just going to bask in the fact that this has been a full 30-day journey. I started on January 31st or 30th of 2025 as a way to reinvigorate my motivation and my passion and my routine for being able to do certain parts of my life, especially when it came to career or just believing in myself in general, and releasing the expectations and pressures that other people in my physical environment have placed on me just because they think they know who I am and what I need better than I do. So I embarked on this journey knowing that I know more about myself than other people do. And then I decided to learn more about myself than I ever already knew. And that is how I ended up here at day 30. And my question to you, if you want to be able to share, something with the community here, write in the comments what really actually led you here and why did you stay? What led you here and why did you continue to follow through with this journey? So that is my answer to you. That is my piece for the day. Um, I hope you guys have had a chance to write down the prompt. If you're watching in the future or even currently in the live stream, you can always just press pause and literally write down the full prompt. You can even screenshot it and have it for yourself to look back on. Or you can always just go to Instagram for Pampered and Lux to look at it. It's also in the full 30-day course. If you feel like I want to do this journey again sometime in the future, you can do it through the website. So now that everyone's written down their prompt for day 30, read your letter to yourself from day 13, then answer today's prompt. Here is the letter I wrote to myself for day 13's prompt. I know this past 2 weeks have flown by. Look how much you've accomplished, Z. I'm so proud of the work you've done and who you are, who you're becoming, and who you will always be. This 30-day challenge is another line. Ooh, this 30-day challenge is another in a line of many. Yet each challenge is like a breath of fresh air and a new year all in itself. I'm excited to see just how much we learn throughout the rest of this challenge. I'm even more excited to find out the ways you choose to honor yourself, challenge yourself, and embody yourself in this next era and challenge period. What will you do? What will I have done to get you there? As you close out this challenge, I want you to truly consider, why do I do all of this? And how can I further equip myself for the transitions to come? Remember, the journey is your way to your vision. I love you and am so proud of you. I know you don't like demands. I know you don't like demands, but celebrate. Celebrate. So that is what I wrote to myself for day 13's journaling prompt. And now that I've read through it, I went ahead and answered my journaling prompt for day 30, which is, what will I do for the next 30 days to progress my transformation into alignment and continue my present journey to a pampered and luxed life? My answer is the JAP as a 30-day journaling challenge. So the journaling analysis process workbook. I told you guys before that I'm going to be following through with that for March. I may not start on March 1st, but I am going to start within the first 10 days of March. So that way that it really mostly lines up with March instead of April. But I do want to make sure I give myself a rest and rejuvenation period before I come back into the social media aspect of sharing my journey and my journaling process. Okay. Now, two other things that I included for my 30-day, for my new 30-day challenge to myself is tracking my daily schedule, the things that actually happened kind of after they happen, which I have a page for that inside of my quarterly life planner and journal. So I use that there, but I also like to use my Google Calendar app to just kind of be able to have it more mobile in my hands instead of having my whole physical journal with me at all times. It's a lot easier for me to just be able to open that at any random moment when I think about updating my calendar. And then at the end of the day, when I do my daily reset, I just go through and write it all down in my planner. But another thing that I want to include is my daily statements. After the first 30-day journaling challenge, I realized how impactful those statements were, but I didn't continue them on. And when I did this 30-day journaling challenge on a live stream, I realized that those daily statements are not something that I have to stop. And it's definitely not something I want to stop. They've been too beneficial for me, too impactful, too great at helping me transform and transition and embody myself and just really love and appreciate myself, actually acknowledge myself, the skills that I have, the things that I've done, who I genuinely just am. So those daily statements are staying. They're always going to be. And I've actually decided to implement them for the rest of my life. Every single day. That is something that I will do for the rest of my life. It takes me less than 5 minutes and it brings me monumental amounts of peace, safety, security, feeling like I'm actually affirmed in life. And it just is the go to for me. So, the last thing that I added for my answer to today's journaling prompt is experiment with thought patterns and ways to uphold my values and receive abundance simultaneously. 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 Let me make sure I add that. Okay. So that's not something that I'm necessarily going to be physically actually journaling about every single day, but it is something that I'm going to be looking at throughout my weeks for the month, and also just encasing my journey of it throughout the month. That's it. I finished the Reset My Life 30-day journaling challenge. I've done it. That was it. That's crazy. 30 different days. 30 whole different days, one after the other. Not a single one missed. Not a single one. Can't nobody tell me nothing. They can't tell me nothing. I know that's right. So, we're moving on to the workshop. The workshop for today is releasing self sabotage in order to embrace confidence and self belief. Okay? Belief in your own journey as well, belief in your vision, but belief and confidence. So, I've written down 12 different steps, and I didn't have the chance to actually put them in a notes sort of situation like I did the others, but I am definitely here and willing to slow down and actually just give them to you straight up. Okay. I may or may not go through some anecdotal experiences that align with these steps, but I do know that I'll be sharing different ways the steps have helped me, maybe without a little bit of exposition. I want to get y'all done with the workshop very soon so that in the next 30 minutes, next 30, 45 minutes, you'll literally be done with the 30-day Reset My Life challenge. Okay. And I know some people take some time after the live stream to finish journaling. So when I say you'll be done in like 45 minutes, I'm trying to get you this knowledge. Okay. I'm trying to get you the stuff that I learned. So the first thing I learned about releasing and recognizing self sabotage. Really, you have to recognize it in the first place. And that's one of the hardest parts, to just recognize it. So, a lot of these steps are quite frankly just understanding how to recognize where you self sabotage, how you self sabotage, and how, what language, what actions actually speak best to you to shift you out of that mode. So, the first thing to do when it comes to releasing self sabotage is ask yourself, a lot of these are questions to ask yourself. Where do I feel like I'm being held back in life? Where do I feel like I'm being held back? And I will go ahead and give a little bit of anecdote. This is going to more so focus on my mental wellness, because this was one of the things that I was honestly self sabotaging with myself. I was making it worse on myself. I was causing a lot of stagnancy in places that didn't have to be, because I wasn't following through on certain things and asking for certain help when I may not have even known that that's what I needed, because I was just not even paying attention to myself that way. Another mode of self sabotage for me, because I'm naturally very introspective and reflective of my own actions and my life, the things that I say. So for me, number one, where do I feel like I'm being held back in life? I felt all through 2024 and even through 2023 a little bit, I felt like my mental wellness and my mental health, my mental capabilities and facilities were kind of keeping me from being able to do everything I needed to do. So, number one, that's where I felt held back. Number two, what ways do I reject help? Okay. So at this time where I'm thinking about the ways that I was holding myself back with my mental wellness, I knew that I had been on medications that worked for me for my mental wellness before. I couldn't exactly pinpoint why I decided to stop them, but I did realize that I had these new fears about side effects that weren't even affecting me. I had these fears that, what I was being told to take or what I could be taking was something that was actually going to end up hurting my body in the long run. I had a lot of things that I heard one specific person I love and trust say to me, just because they didn't really understand the extent the extent of why I even needed these medications, they were thinking that they were just being taken frivolously for no absolute reason, which is kind of wild. The doctor would not prescribe me these medications for no absolute reason. But because this person is someone that I am meant to trust, because they're close to me familial wise, and they're also a healthcare professional, I was listening to their words more than I was listening to the knowledge I had about myself. And it made me reject that help. It made me choose to reject the things that were actually working for me and try to fit into a mold that that other person saw for me. So that's number two, the ways, what ways do I reject help? Number three, what areas of my life am I most neglectful of, or do I pay the least amount of attention to? So for from around 2021, the end of 2021 to the very beginnings of 2024, I was very much neglectful of my health and my overall health, which was very uncharacteristic for me. I grew up not only knowing about health, but being an avid researcher. I went vegetarian at a very young age and did research on making sure I could have all of my nutrition. I was a very physically fit person, not necessarily to stay a certain weight, but to stay active and to make sure my body was able to move. I I was in a place where I was paying attention to all the aspects of my health before, certain events happened and before I decided to stick around certain people. So when I realized I was neglecting my health, like my overall health, I realized that I was self sabotaging. I was sabotaging myself in ways that were just so profound. I could have ended up in a gutter if I had didn't get myself out. So after I recognized the areas in my life where I was most neglectful or paid the least attention to, number three, number four came, which is what is an area of my life I see as successful? How do I treat this aspect of my life compared to others? I'll say that one more time for everybody, and you can always rewind, okay? What is an aspect or area of my life I see as successful? How do I treat this aspect of myself compared to others? So, one of the main aspects of my life that I saw as successful during this period of large neglect was, honestly, I don't think I saw any aspect of my life as going successfully. I saw the ways that my social life needed to change, but it wasn't changing really. I think the main thing that stayed stable for me during that time, or that I felt successful about, was my ability to still be introspective and still be insightful, observant, and just embody certain natural and innate traits that I had. So that's what I felt like I was still being successful at. I was still being successful at using my innate capabilities. I was just using them to fulfill ideas, goals, and purposes that had nothing to do with me and were not mine and were not meant for me. So that is number four. What is an area of my life I see as successful? How do I treat this aspect of my life compared to others? Number five, what are my specific self sabotaging habits? Create a list. What are my specific self sabotaging habits? Create a list. So, after this, I decided to just take a moment to write down in journal what it looks like for me to end up in a stagnant period. But I also wrote down what feeling a lot of anxiety feels like for me inside of my body and what I'm thinking, because heightened anxiety is usually what sends me into self sabotaging. So, recognizing that that connection, the anxiety, will consequently bring about self sabotage if I don't soothe, acknowledge, and pay attention to it. that's part of something I put on my habits list of self sabotaging. So I will read a few of the things off of my list. And these do include things that are kind of involuntary because anxiety takes over the nervous system and it really shakes things up. But I also have things on here that are within my control and within my ability to recognize. So there's body itching, chills, sudden heat, uh, dizziness, night restlessness, hopelessness, inaction in my daily tasks, procrastinating, no appetite. So then I don't eat, which makes it worse. Skin picking, seeking out excess dopamine and stimulation, doubting myself. Um, Selective mutism is one of the things that happens when I'm really anxious. There's also feeling constant danger, um, gut issues, chest pressure, and pain. Those are things that are symptoms of my anxiety, which is a direct cause of a lot of my self sabotaging. And my self sabotaging usually looks like procrastination, it usually looks like distraction. It usually looks like trying to help others before I help myself. It usually looks like talking about the thing instead of doing the thing. So, those are some different things that encompass my self sabotaging habits. Some of those things may be similar for you, they may be different. You may have even more or just completely different ones. So, just write down and take the time to write down your specific self sabotaging habits. Create that list for yourself so that you can look back at it at any time. Even when you're feeling confused and you don't know how you're feeling, you can look back at this and be like, oh, okay, I know what mode I'm in, and I even have a strategy and plan like we created in these past few days. I even have a strategy and plan to get me out of this funk. So let me go to that. Let me just go to that. All right. Number 6. What fears do I have about trying certain things slash accepting help? Number 6. What fears do I have about trying certain things or accepting help? So, a lot of the fears I had about the ways I was rejecting help earlier, specifically with my mental wellness, like I was saying, I was rejecting it because the fears were like, oh, well, what if I take it and I end up with lifelong side effects that are just not good? What if I take it and it makes things worse in a way, or it doesn't improve? So now I'm stuck having to change medications all the time. What if I start the medication and I can't get off because my brain doesn't, it just doesn't do what it needs to after a while? Because sometimes some people can get on certain medications and their brain will kickstart the hormone productions. And sometimes some people are just on for life. And it was one of my very big concerns to be on certain medications for life. Another fear was, what if I was thinking, what if people judge me for taking this help, for taking this specific type of help, especially because I've moved more into a holistic style of thinking about my wellness. I always try to go for my habits, my diet, my sleep as fixing my issues first. And if it's none of those, then I go for the next step. But I realize that I've been trying all of those and I need to go to the next step. So, after number 6, number 7, recognize ways I currently believe in myself. Now we're getting into building and embracing that confidence and belief. So, the moment that I realized I was neglecting so much of myself and so much of my health, I was like, nah, I don't deserve that. So, A, I believed that I deserved better than the neglect I was giving myself. And then I recognize that there are plenty of things about who I am and what I do and the values that I embody that would completely allow me to be in spaces that I actually desired to be in. I was just being told that those spaces were hard to get into or almost impossible. And I was listening to all of these outside voices once again, and they got into my brain and started ruminating. So I had to just start recognizing the ways that I believe in myself, which also is one of the reasons I've decided to continue doing these daily statements. Because when you recognize these things about yourself on a daily basis, it's much harder for you to neglect yourself, because you're sitting there affirming who you are, what you deserve, your values, all of the things that make up you. And then if you try and go and make a decision throughout that day that just doesn't work for you and it doesn't align, you're going to remember who you are, and you're going to remember the values that you have and the worth that you innately have. Number 8, we've got 2 more after this. Number 8, how can I embrace more faith and trust? How can I embrace more faith and trust is number 8. The ways that I chose to embrace more faith and trust, I really hated it when people would say it. They'd be like, you just got to do it, like while you're scared. But for me, it was being able to trust that I can handle my own feelings. So I just actually started acknowledging them. I can handle my feelings. Let me acknowledge them. I can handle this. So let me acknowledge it so that I can move on. I started to embrace the innate capabilities of just me being able to be me. It is completely possible. It is completely within my means of being able to do things. So I just have to trust that because I'm being me, everything that's aligned with me and the opportunities that I'm looking for are going to literally happen. They're just going to happen because I'm continuously being who I am, taking those actions, taking those steps, building new habits, thinking new ways. When you think new ways, you perceive new ways. So you're going to see new opportunities that may have always been in front of you, but you didn't realize it because you were in a whole different state of belief and thinking. So just embracing the fact that I am who I am, change is possible. I can do whatever it is I'd like to do for my life and for myself. I just have to be open to it. It was deciding to be open, deciding to be receptive to those things that I'm actually looking for. Because trust isn't necessarily about, like, trust isn't really like a trust fall. A trust fall is when you have somebody behind you and you can't really see them, so you decide to fall. I think that's a misplaced name for it, because trust is really just accepting the openness of opportunity, accepting that it is what it is and you are who you are, and everything around you that needs to be around you is around you, teaching you certain lessons that you can learn from, to so that you can choose to do the next step of your life. It's being receptive to that openness and to change. Okay. All right. Number 9. What are the things that push me or excite me to make long lasting changes? Okay. And this was a really big one because it helps you stay on track. It helps you come back to yourself when you have those moments they feel way too hard. You're having anxiety overload. Everything is too much. You may even just shut down. You may even go on burnout mode, whatever it is. Once you realize that you have reasons to stay in certain modes and to change certain modes so that you can have long lasting change, you start thinking about longevity, and you start thinking about how can I actually ration all of my resources in ways that actually fulfill me in the long run. So really thinking about what is really exciting you about making this long lasting change? What are you really looking forward to? What are you actually doing this for? All right. Last one, number 10. What ways can I move through a self sabotage moment? Create a strategy for it. Like I was saying, we kind of created a strategy on day 24. So if you look back at the first workshop we've done for this 30-day journaling challenge. On day 24, we asked, how have you survived the turbulence in your life? Write a plan and strategy for how you soothe yourself in times of chaos. And it kind of goes hands in hand with number 10, what ways can I move through a self-sabotage moment? And when I look at my personal list of ways that I'm deciding to move through self sabotage, my strategy, I'm going to read it or show it to you guys because I still have it pulled up. My strategy here is as follows. Okay. And that's the same strategy I can use to help me identify self sabotage. It's the same strategy I can use to help me move through transitions in life. It's the same strategy I can use to help me move through stagnancy in life. It is literally it. Okay. And for me, it has 8 different steps. So I've decided to continue using that strategy, but you can use either your strategy from day 24 or create a whole new strategy specifically based on self sabotage. It's up to you. It's all up to you how you're going to create tools to help yourself. Okay? That that is it. I want to make sure I give y'all like another 15 minutes to be able to write your journaling answers, okay? But that is it. We are literally not only done with the releasing self sabotage workshop, but we're also done with the 30-day reset my life journaling challenge. Okay, that was it. That was it. We're done. Oh my God. So if you have learned anything about yourself, resonated with anything throughout this whole 30-day challenge, feel free to share this knowledge, share this journey, share this challenge with somebody that you know may be looking to reset their mindset. They may be looking to reset their life. They may just be looking to make a change just to start journaling. Send it to them. Why gatekeep knowledge that we can all share, we can all have? It can help us all. To help yourself and to help each individual person along your way helps all of us be better as a society, as a group, as a civilization. Okay? And why wouldn't we want to be better for future generations to be better and to do better and feel better? That's all I have to say. So, the one thing that I've learned about myself today, I am that girl. Okay? That's what I learned about myself today. I mean, I already knew it in the consciousness of my mind, but I feel like she's really gotten into the back, into the subconscious because I'm that girl. Okay? Nobody else can tell me. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I am that girl. I'm that girl. And that's what I know. That's what I've learned with myself today because it's important to embrace all of who you are, every single aspect, no matter how hard you feel or think. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm too weird. Maybe this isn't for me. Embrace all of who you are and then align yourself with spaces that work for who you are and who you envision yourself to be, the life that you envision for yourself. Do you, boo? That's all I got to say. Goodbye.